Hello crafty friends, it's Jess from JessCrafts.com. Today I'm going to try a live video instead. I just wanted to see if this would encourage me to share more videos and save some time in recording. So anyway, I am here with a Scrapbookdotcom promotion. They are having a sort of 12 days of Christmas promotion where they're sharing different free items every day for 12 days, and it goes through December, I'm trying to remember the date exactly here. Yes, December 11th. So every day you place an order between now and December 11th, you'll get a freebie. The freebie for today, which is Friday, November 24th through Sunday, November 26th, is this Tonic Dot and Drop die. And so that's what I'm going to be working with today. This is the Blossom Spray one. You'll get different ones. It's just you'll get some kind of dot and drop die. It's not going to necessarily be this one as far as I know, although it says it's the Scrapbook.com exclusive dot and drop die. So these are apparently only available at Scrapbook.com, so that's exciting. So here for my card today, as I'm getting started, I used the die, and as you can see, it cuts out some flowers, leaves, and then it leaves these little dot impressions behind. They're actually like little holes in the paper. And while that is a cool detail, the idea is, because this is from Tonic Studio, who are the makers of Nuvo drops, the idea is that you would then be able to put the Tonic Nuvo drops right there, and it would kind of act as like a guideline of what you should do. And so what I'm doing here is I have cut out the die, and I have cut it out of some white paper, which is going to be my main card, and I've also cut it out of some pink and green paper. You may notice, looking at the pink and green paper, that it's not just solid pieces of cardstock. Instead, what I did, and I do this pretty often, is I created my own solid colored paper to perfectly coordinate with the stamping that I've done. So I cut it out of the white paper, and then I stamped Hello There, which is from a Neat and Tangled stamp set. I bought it for the little images, but these sayings have come in candy quite a bit. It's the Better Together saying from, or sorry, stamp set from Neat and Tangled. And I stamped that in Distress Oxide inks. As I've said many times on my channel, Distress Oxide inks are great for solid stamping and for sentiment stamping because they give a better impression than most dye inks I've used. Distress Oxide inks are a mix of dye and pigment. That pigment property allows them to stamp pretty well, and the dye property allows them, I believe it's kind of that combination that allows them to dry better than the average pigment ink. I love the look of pigment ink, but it just doesn't dry well, so I was kind of stuck trying to use dye inks to the best of my ability and finding that they weren't always giving me the impression that I wanted. I was having to use my Misty every time, which, you know, the Misty is a great tool, and you could use like the Tim Holtz stamp platform as well, but I don't always want to have to put everything loaded up into the Misty. Creating backgrounds is especially frustrating in the Misty because you have to, you know, move the stamp every time. So I like to just be able to stamp and go. And now, since I stamped the Hello in Lucky Clover and the There for the Hello There sentiment, I stamped that in the Worn Lipstick Distress Oxide ink. I was then able to create perfectly coordinating pattern paper by rubbing the Distress Oxide ink all over a piece of white cardstock. And then I have what essentially amounts to a perfectly coordinated piece of pink cardstock and a perfectly coordinated piece of green cardstock. Now, I know something that is also pretty popular to do is there are some brands out there who create inks and cardstocks that perfectly coordinate. And I think that that is a cool offering by those companies, but I also think budget-wise that could be a bit of a challenge for some people. because you'd have to, you know, buy every single, you know, only use those inks. And like I said, I'm a big fan of Distress Oxide inks. They don't have perfectly coordinating cardstock, but you'd also have to like keep on hand every color of ink and every color of cardstock. And I don't know, it's just, I guess it's just not for me personally. I think that this is probably a little bit more budget friendly, even if it means I have to refill my Distress Oxide inks a little bit sooner. If you think about the price of a refill, and it doesn't refill just one time, it refills several times, I think that overall that's a better option. So what I've done here to make this easier is I'm doing an inlay die cutting technique where I'm placing the die cut pieces inside of the white cardstock that I die cut the same die from. I am making it easier by putting double-sided adhesive all along the back. So all those holes have adhesive showing through. So as I push down my die cut piece, it's being pushed right into adhesive. And that is making this go much, much faster. If I had instead chosen to put, try to like glue each one of these pieces in, then I'd have, you know, stop and squirt a bit of glue on each one. That would get pretty frustrating. But beyond that, the other choice would be to put the die, as I put the adhesive onto the piece of colored paper. So like to put adhesive on the back of this and then die cut it. However, I personally find that I don't tend to like the look of that. Just as it goes through the machine, it's that much thicker, and I have to apply even more pressure to get the cut. It doesn't always cut through the adhesive. And so putting the adhesive behind my die cut area and so that it sticks through the holes has been a much better solution for me personally. Now, I'm getting to the point where I've kind of shared all the things that I wanted to share, and I haven't finished putting in all of these pieces. So I may just skip ahead, show you the last part of this cool die, and fill in these other little pieces. But as you see, this is actually going pretty fast. This could be something that you could do while watching your favorite show, or even, you know, talking with a friend, because it doesn't really take your mental energy per se. You just kind of have to match up the pieces like a puzzle, and it's actually kind of a relaxing thing to do. So I'll finish that up later. I just want to show you the last part of this die. Again, this is part of the Scrapbook.com 12 days freebie giveaway, and so you can get this die for free today, the 24th, the 25th, the 26th of 2017, November, for it's like basically their little Black Friday promotion. So there's also lots of other great sales going on at Scrapbook.com right now. So, you know, I would check out, see what kind of sales match up for you. You find something you like, then you get this free die, which to me is awesome because it kind of like makes up for shipping. You know, sometimes you're like, you know, I really want this thing, but I also have to pay this, you know, shipping costs too. Although I will say Scrapbook.com ships quickly, and it has a reasonable rate for their shipping, and it, you know, it depends on this what you're ordering. So if you're just ordering stamps, you're going to get a smaller shipping fee than if you were ordering something heavier. So I personally prefer that rather than those flat rate shipping policies, because when I'm ordering just a single stamp set, I'm not paying twice the price of the stamp set in shipping. Okay, so I have my Nuvo drops, also by Tonic. They're kind of meant to work together. I'm not a big Nuvo fanatic like others, and it's not because they're not lovely, just that Nuvo drops kind of create this little look of like a candy dot or enamel dot on your card, which is really pretty. But I donate a lot of my cards, and I don't want the kiddos to kind of think, oh, look, a little piece of candy on the card, and pull it off and swallow it. So I just kind of shy away from using it because, like I said, I donate my cards mainly to children, and I didn't want it to be a possible choking hazard. So here today, like I said, I only have a few colors to choose from. I'm just going to use the glitter drops. I thought it would be nice to kind of jazz up this card a bit, add a bit of sparkle, since it's very pretty, but it could use a little something something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Nuvo drops. Ooh. So there I got a little bit of an air bubble in it, and you can actually fix this. That's the fun thing about being live, is that I'll have to fix it right away for you guys. You can mostly just scrape it off. You may use your sand eraser if you have it. This would be a bigger problem if I had been using the colored drops. So the smarter thing would be to just kind of test it and do a few drops before you take it to your paper. I've heard a couple people recommend that. So I'm going to say the same thing. Do a couple practice drops on a piece of paper, then bring it to your project so that you're not going to accidentally splurge a bunch of it onto your project. And then once you've put the pressure down, try to keep it pretty even throughout. Don't stop, let all the air out, and then try to keep going, because then when you let more air into the bottle, you're creating another possibility of it splurging out. So if you have to pause, you know, you're working on something else and or you get called away, phone calls, etc., then do a couple more practice dots before coming back to it. Because if you let air in the bottle, you're opening yourself up to the possibility of getting that little splurge again. So try to keep some nice even pressure. Somebody pointed out to me that I kind of keep my thumb on the side of bottles, like when I use a multimedia mat. I think that for me, it's always kind of worked to provide a more even pressure without causing any pain in my fingers. My fingers get sore sometimes because I rock climb, and so put a lot of pressure on them, use a lot of strength. So I think that's probably why. I also have a terrible habit of cracking my fingers, which probably makes them weaker too. So just a thought, you know, if you're feeling a little uncomfortable as you're using the material, kind of try holding the bottle in a different way. And as you can see, this is making me be able to, like, allowing me to make a beautiful design without even thinking. I don't have to think about the spacing or, you know, creating a swirl in just the right place. I can just go along, dot, 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 until I have one in each place. And then when this dries, I will put it on a card, and that will be it for my project today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you thought this was a okay way of doing a tutorial, like you like me talking live, let me know too. I won't, of course, do it for everything. Certain things need to be faster. But I also will leave links to Scrapbook.com so you can check out what their freebie of the day is. Like I said, there'll be freebies until December 11th. And this is the Tonic Dot and Drop die. It's an exclusive for Scrapbook.com. And thank you so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more tutorials. Have an awesome day. Bye.